Peyton Manning is retired. Tom Brady isn't getting any younger. It's a new generation of quarterback, and it's Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood right now. Roger that. For the next month leading up to the start of the 2016 NFL season, I'm going to be bringing it. Analysis, predictions, team previews, player rankings. You can get your fix at the all-new PhillyInfluencer.com. The revolution has begun. So let's get into the quarterback rankings. At number one, as you can imagine, I got Aaron Rodgers. He's my number one guy, despite having an off year by his standards, although 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, that's not too shabby. His top target, Jordy Nelson, missed the season, and a lot of his other weapons were wounded and sidelined throughout the year. So, it was just a lot of craziness going on in Green Bay. There's a misconception about what the mobile quarterback is in the NFL. There's more to being athletic than running and escaping the pocket, gaining yards on the ground. I mean, Rodgers, he's not as athletic as, say, Cam Newton and Russell Wilson, but what he does do is extend plays using his feet. He eludes rushers in the backfield. He escapes the pocket while keeping his eyes downfield, delivering accurate balls while getting rid of it using his lightning-quick release. So he uses his ability to extend and find open receivers instead of take off and pick up as many yards as he can on the ground. There's no quarterback in the game that can use his feet as intelligently as Rodgers does. So with Rodgers, not only do you have that quarterback that's your traditional pocket passer that delivers the ball accurately and on time, he can also escape it and throw peas on the move. No quarterback in the NFL right now has both of those qualities to the extent of Rodgers. And going a bit further into his skills from the pocket, he's so accurate that defensive backs can rarely break on the ball. He'll never miss wildly enough to a point where an overthrow lands into the arms of a deep secondary player. And when he misses behind a receiver, it's only slightly and not enough for a trailing defender to get his paws on it. Rodgers throws with anticipation and places the ball into tight windows by controlling the velocity and trajectory of his passes. If there is a weakness to his game, he gets a little, he gets happy feet sometimes, which can limit his accuracy, but his arm talent is so great, he can get away with it. There's a reason why he has the highest rated passer rating in the history of the game. It's Aaron Rodgers, and he's amazing. He really is. Tom Brady, he's number two. He turns 39 this month, actually turns 39 in like 2 days. But you wouldn't know it when watching him play. There's still not any throw that he can't make. He threw for 4,770 yards last year, 36 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions, en route to his 5th straight AFC Championship appearance. He's going to miss the first 4 games of the year. We all know this. He's still the best decision maker in the game. He also remains one of the most accurate as well. New England's got that quick strike, spread him out attack. He puts the ball in the numbers, leads them perfectly pretty much every time using that consistent, quick, compact type motion. His deep ball accuracy, which has always been a strength of his game, it's still there. He's got quick and choppy footwork that allows him to move in the pocket pretty well, even though he's got, kind of limited athletic ability. Definitely no Aaron Rodgers here. Brady, he's still the ultimate winner. He's the guy I want, leading my offense in that 2-minute drill. All right. So I've got Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck at number 3, 4, and 5 respectively. But as you can see, each of them were given a rating of 8.8. So they're on that second tier right behind Rodgers and Brady. Cam Newton, number 3. I've got the reigning NFL MVP right here. He tallied 45 total touchdowns last year, 35 through the air, 10 on the ground. Very impressive campaign for a guy with pretty much a mediocre receiving core. If you guys remember, Kelvin Benjamin was hurt during the preseason and missed the year. Newton's decision-making was on point last year, knowing when to escape the pocket and throw the ball downfield or take off on his own, so he's gotten a lot better in that aspect. His arm strength is elite. He can throw the ball into any window at any time. And it's also pretty much impossible for him to underthrow a receiver. If Newton does lack in an area, it's still with his accuracy, completing 59.8% of his passes last year. When he's off, he misses high, but there's also times when he's dialed in and he's about as accurate and precise as any signal caller in the game. Russell Wilson, number 4, led the NFL in passer rating at 110.1, dominated over his last 7 games, posting 24 touchdowns to go along with just 1 interception. By far his best year of his career, 34 touchdowns and 8 picks in all. playing behind arguably the worst offensive line in the league, gave up 45 sacks. Despite his smaller stature, he can sling it with the best of them. Perfect trajectory on his deep ball. One of the better decision makers in the game, evidenced by his single-digit interception total. Third straight year he's done that. Obviously, we all know about his elusiveness, but where he can get into trouble is, when he's trying to do too much at times. This leads to huge losses when he gets sacked, because you'll see him play. He'll dart like 10 to 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and when the defense gets to him, that leads to like 2nd and 25, and that's no good. All right, number 5, I've got Andrew Luck. 2015 was a bust. There's no denying that. He had just a 74.9 passer rating, tossed 15 touchdowns to go along with 12 interceptions over his first 7 games before missing the rest of the way due to injuries. 2015 came a year after Luck led the NFL, 40 touchdown passes in 2014. Last year kind of reminded me of Peyton Manning's 4th year in the league. Posted 26 touchdowns and 23 picks. So maybe this is just one of those years. He just had an off year. We shall see. I'm not going to let one disappointing year, kind of deter how I feel about Luck, who might have had the greatest 3-year start of any quarterback ever. His offensive line flat out stinks. There's no denying that, but he overcomes that with his ability to extend plays. Like Rodgers, Luck is equally adept at being a pocket passer and throwing on the move. Luck's touch is excellent. He understands trajectory, how to drop a ball over a trailing defender. He leads receivers so they can catch him in stride. He might be the toughest quarterback in terms of hanging in the pocket, which gives his receivers as much time to get open as possible. He sidesteps pressure up the middle, steps up into it when avoiding edge rushers. There are other quarterbacks who have a little bit more arm strength than Luck, but he's still above average in that area. His accuracy wasn't on point last year. He overthrew a bunch of targets, and that led to a lot of interceptions. He had 12 in his first 7 games. Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben, he's number 6. He didn't carry the offense in the past due to a stellar Pittsburgh defense. He was kind of limited, but that's not the case anymore. They let him sling it. He missed the first 4 games last year due to nagging injuries, finished the year with just 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, so the stats weren't really that great. Roethlisberger has easy velocity on his throws, zipping the deep outs with ease to go along with one of the best deep balls in the league. His release is smooth in the pocket and on the move. Where Big Ben can get into trouble is with his overthrows, and that comes when he kind of overstrides in the pocket. Drew Brees, number 7. He's always been very accurate up the seams, and when you think of the back shoulder throw, you think of Brees. But the 36-year-old's age has begun to show with his arm strength just a little bit. He just can't get it out there the way he used to, and that arm strength was never really elite to begin with. He still has that lightning quick release, can still maneuver in the pocket beautiful. Number 8, I got Carson Palmer. Perfect fit for Bruce Arians' vertical attack in the desert. 6'5", 230 pounds. He's the ideal pocket passer who can get the ball downfield using his cannon for an arm. Led the NFL with 8.7 yards per attempt. Finished 2nd in touchdown passes with 35. It was by far Palmer's best season of his 13-year career, picking apart defenses by easily going through all of his progressions. Release is still compact. Nobody can outrun his deep ball, not even John Brown. So where Palmer can get into trouble is when, the pressure gets in his face. That's when he tends to kind of overthrow his receivers. Phillip Rivers, I got number 9. One of the ultimate competitors in today's game. Thrives when the game is on the line. When he gets a clean pocket from, an inconsistent offensive line, he can pick you apart with the best of them. Still got that, obviously, his unorthodox kind of shot-put delivery, but that hasn't caused mechanical flaws. He does tend to fade away from passes when there's pressure in his face. That's where he can get into trouble. Tony Romo, number 10. Fat Tony, as a lot of Twitter wanted to call him this past weekend. Had the best year of his career in 2014. Led the NFL in passer rating at 113.2. Tossed 34 scores and just 9 interceptions. But he missed 12 games last year after breaking his clavicle twice. He's at his best when ad-libbing, using that head, shoulder, and pump fake to manipulate defenders. He also likes using that patented spin move to escape pressure. So even at 36, he can spin it with the best of them. So that's my top 10. But some other guys I'm really interested to see progress. I've got Derek Carr at number 11, Blake Bortles at number 13, two quarterbacks coming off breakout years, but now trying to lead the Raiders and Jaguars, respectively, to possible playoff appearances. I'm a huge fan of Carr. I mean, I believe he has some of that it factor, a lot of arm talent, puts a lot of good trajectory on his deep balls, plenty of zip on his outside the hash tosses. He's come a long way with his footwork as well. I mean, his footwork at Fresno State was terrible. So he doesn't have to rely strictly on his arm anymore. Really curious to see what type of strides Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota take in their second years following promising rookie campaigns. Winston is 18th, Mariota 19th in my rankings. Some overrated quarterbacks I'm not really kind of high on. Not an Andy Dalton fan. Number 15 on my list. Doesn't have the benefit of Hugh Jackson this season, so we'll see what he does. I mean, obviously, we all know his falters in the playoffs. He didn't start in the playoffs last year. A.J. McCarron did. I'm also having a hard time believing Kirk Cousins will repeat his success of a year ago. As great as his second half of the season was, played a cupcake schedule, benefited from one of the best pass-blocking offensive lines in the league, and from what I saw on tape, got away with a lot of overthrows, which really could have led to a lot more interceptions than he had. So if I had to guess, I think it was a fluke. I think we could be seeing another Derek Anderson here. We shall see. All right, as for the Eagles, I've got Sam Bradford at number 24. While I think he is going to benefit being in Doug Peterson's slow and methodical offense, having the luxury of audibling, I don't think he has the mental makeup of handling all that pressure he thrust upon himself during the offseason, asking for a trade, all that stuff. So is he going to be able to handle the hate of Philadelphia, all the booing? Everybody wants Carson Wentz in here.